Tony. Here you go, mate. Yes, Jaxon came into the world today. I'm sort of guessing, I think he weighed about £9. Hello?
Yeah, I'm just actually saying hello to Tony, and I've just realised something. I think I got a message off Ben or somebody about weight. I'm just so tired.
Yes.
3675 kilograms, which is about £9.
Well, I'll tell you, if you let me work it out. 2.2, 6.6 pound. So 9, let's say 2. Just over 8 pound, something.
3675
kilograms.
Yeah.
I'm sure people out there can work it out. Tony will be able to work it out for us.
53 centimetres.
3.65 kilo. What's that in pounds? I'm guessing £8.5. That's my guess. And the empire grows. We've only got 7 warrior male grandchildren and 3 warrior female grandchildren. The males dominate.
Yeah, just over £8. I thought he was small.
£8.5?
£8.1.
There you go.
It's still.
How many grandkids are you aiming for, Tony? I know you're only dealing with kids at the moment, but what do you want, 30? And they're all different in their own little ways. Actually, one of Jaxon's elder brother stayed here, and this morning I fed him breakfast. I gave him bacon, scrambled eggs and toast, and he stood up after he ate it, and I swear to you, this is what he said. Pointed down to the plate and said, "That bacon was the best bacon in the world." But the wife was there with her daughter when she gave birth, and basically haven't slept for 2 days.
No.
Yeah. So she'll be like lunchtime tomorrow, crawling on the carpet, coming out of the bedroom.
Just waiting for the grandson to come home and I'll go to bed. The other grandson visiting his brother.
Yep.
Just waiting to hear when they drop him off.
We're all a bit tired. Stressful time, but good stress. labour went for about, trying to work it out, about 12 hours. Not that bad. But believe it or not, again, middle of winter, it's 18 degrees Celsius. Bloody beautiful. Hello, Hayward. You have a Jaxon as well? He was my first grandbaby. Well, congratulations for yours. He is our 10th. Not sure how many more we'll get. I think my eldest son is now 40. Was he 41? Oh, no, 40. He's 40. He's got 2. His daughter's got 3. Next eldest son's got 2. This daughter just gave birth. She's got 2, and my other son's got 1. 10. It's an exciting time when babies are born. It's also stressful to hope everything goes well type thing, and it did. But you always worry to that extent. Yes, so we named the baby Jaxon Nicolescu. I just thought it fitting. We were thinking of Jaxon IRC Bully. No, it didn't work. So Jaxon Nicolescu, that works. And children born in this year, of course, will be known as children of the pandemic. Nicolescu will have children of her own in the future. Probably 8. Living in a council flat in Manchester. You'll find that she'll be like 2 bedrooms. She'll be locked in one, not coming out, refusing to answer any questions from the children. Speak to your father. Then as she gets a bit older, she'll disappear from the house, run away from the children, desperately. Probably pop into Safeways, shoot down to bingo, then dread walk home to a house full of aged children. Oh my God. I will never have children. Not will I ever live in a council flat. If you have 8 children, you'll have no choice.
Pretty tired, tell ya.
All right. We used to have another shop when I was a kid called Bonz's, not Australian Bonza, but Bonz's, which was like a news agency, candy, all that sort of thing. And, well, I come from a generation long before you surfaced onto the planet, Nicolescu. Seriously. You know, the land of the Beatles was probably when I first rose my head up. I thought, I can think for myself now, but I'm aged about 5. Yeah. It was a different world. The Vikings were still living in the area. The Manx were hiding in caves, developing viruses for the future.
You were born last century.
And, yeah. No doubt when I was a kid there was a great rivalry between towns, even in the north. Liverpool, Manchester, Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, all sort of, you know, they got on with each other, but they had plenty of fights. And that's gone. They're all the same now. There's no difference. There's no culture. The Manc is unique, localised, really. You talk about Mancunians. Like, Nicole doesn't mind. She's half Manc. She's got a bit of Manc in her.
Is she?
I think I've heard.
You think?
I think I heard her mother speak one day,
I tell you.
and there's a little bit more Manc in that. But I think I've heard your father speak. There's not much mank in that. What happened there? Crossbreeding with other cultures.
And your mum and dad doing all right, Nicole? And the puppy dog and the putty cat?
Of which we may look at getting in the future. Of course, I don't make decisions in the household. I just think of gorgeous little puppies jumping on my lap, but I have to wait till the decision made by the boss.
Yeah.
My dad's from Pickles, and that's why he doesn't sound like a Mac. Don't name them. Amelia, congratulations. Thank you very much. Number 10. Ooh. That's a small army. She is one of the, I mean, I can only remember on a couple of occasions in my entire existence on YouTube where people have mentioned births. It's not a common thing, is it?
It is actually.
Isn't it? I've never seen it. I think I've heard
You know what?
someone saying that they had a granddaughter or something.
Now, whenever you go to YouTube, all you're going to come up
Hello,
and see
Scarlett.
is all these people's births.
Could be, yeah, but you don't see.
I will email.
Thank you, Scarlett. We don't see a lot of people mention
I will email Scarlett
children or,
the photos.
I mean, like birth of grandchildren, things like that. It's like, it's not common. I mean, Amelia's just mentioned.
I got better photos to send you, Scarlett.
Yes, we're sending Scarlett a special gift. There's half a dozen T-shirts with Hillary Clinton on it. I'm just kidding, just kidding. No, they sold out ages ago. She bought them back because they wouldn't sell.
Maybe tomorrow or the day after. I think I'll be sleeping all day tomorrow.
She will. She'll sleep all day. I'll be up at dawn, of course, scrubbing the deck, painting the mainsail and doing all the stuff.
There the whole time.
Cooking breakfast in bed for her. Yeah, I can think of a lot of things worse than Clinton's face on anything, for sure. Maggie Thatcher would come to mind, first of all, for your time, Nicole, but I'm sure you've heard all about how she demonised the working man. Harsh woman. Thank you, Gringo. Welcome, Jaxon, to the world. I think Harold Wilson was the Prime Minister whilst I was in the UK. Oh, she was a bit of a hard lady, the old Thatcher.
Yes, I need those words tonight, Gringo. I feel a wreck and I'm stuffed.
Yep.
Does Nicole know old Gringo?
I don't know. Nicole? Old Gringo? Old Gringo? Nicole. A small little hairy child was born today, but not in the ghetto.
Very, very tired, Scarlett, but she's doing good. There with her, she was giving birth. I was thinking to myself, thank God it's not me. Yes, it's brought back many memories.
I don't know what all the fuss about. I've had, 5 children and 10 grandchildren. I haven't got one stretch mark. What are you complaining about?
Do you know you can buy a apparatus that sits on a man that simulates giving birth? I'm going to buy it for you.
Well, I think the problem I have with my gallbladder probably surpasses that. Wouldn't wish that upon anyone. Giving birth? Certainly painful, no question. Yeah, look at my life. I always found Cat Stevens funny. He always sort of spoke but stopped on words. It's not time to settle down. Da 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 da.
For me, I started singing John Denver in the playbook room.
I've
Actually,
had sex and can say a kidney stone is worse.
yeah, I don't want a kidney stone. Thank you.
Gallstone
Kidney stone, yeah, no.
was the worst thing I've ever come. And I've been hit by cars, electrocuted, all sorts of funny things, but Neil Young. I thought Cat Stevens wrote it. It's not time to settle down. That's the one that goes, look at me, I'm old, but I'm happy.
Yeah, the one Scarlett said, isn't it?
It could be Neil Young. I always thought Cat Stevens wrote and sang it first.
Yeah, Cat Stevens, he did.
Yeah, it's father and son. Would have been, well, Scarlett says Cat Stevens. I thought it was Cat Stevens. It was in the early 70s, I think, when that came out. But Neil Young might have sang it. Don't know. A lot of singers, you know, will steal a lot of songs from other people. What you looking for, boss?
Waiting for the other grandson to come home, so...
Well, you can go to bed. I can probably
No.
manage opening a door.
No.
Old Man by Neil Young. That could be it.
Old man by, Google that, old man. It's familiar. It's familiar.
Yeah, I think just a few of the words that Gringo, I think he meant Neil Young song from the beginning. Just threw a few cats in a cradle in it to confuse us.
Cats in the cradle with a silver spoon. Little boy blue in the band. When you gonna come home, Dad? Don't know when.
G'day. That's Welsh for g'day. Yes, she's doing well. About £8.1 we worked out roughly. Doug McLean.
Oh, yeah.
So mother is resting or collapsing, one of the two. You need to exhaustion. Harry Chaplin. I can't read from here. Chapin
Which one?
did Cats in the Cradle.
Harry
Might have did
Chapin.
Cats, but I'm pretty sure Cat Stevens wrote that. That was on the same album that you mentioned before, I think.
Harry Chapin.
Music is one of your fortes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, between Scarlett and old Gringo, we always get the answers we need with
Yes,
the
it was,
songs.
but it was. It's exciting and it's worrying, but now it's over. It's great. There'll be lots of tired days coming up for the daughter, for sure. And in about a week's time, she'll say, "Take this baby away! It won't stop crying."
I know the cord was wrapped around his neck twice, but he had to have a bit of oxygen. But he's all good now.
Well, the good thing about babies, they don't need to breathe until they come out. So,
Yeah.
of course, there's a worry of blood supply. That's about the only worry.
Actually, they did comment. I
And
think
oxygen.
he had a longer cord than usual because it was a few knots and around his neck twice.
Never used to worry me when my kids were little. I'd always get up. All they need is, bum change, or usually the most thing they need is a cuddle.
No, Scarlett.
caught under your bladder. Have you ever thought about driving a car instead? Be a lot easier to get him out then. He's 45.
I know,
Wow.
Fuzzy.
You know the thing that always fascinates me with little kids, not being rude, but most little kids look similar in their face features while they're very, very young. But it's their hands. I think Deanna said, my goodness, look at those little digits. Perfect little nails on them, tiniest little hands. It's like it took someone smart to develop that, obviously.
Yeah. Just the whole thing that.
I mean, babies start getting character about week 8 after they're born. A couple of months they start having features. It's just fascinating, isn't it, Scarlett? Just the perfection of the hand. It's an unbelievable tool that we've all used since we were born. But when a baby first comes in, you see those tiny little hands. You think, wow, they're pretty good. Yeah, that happens with a lot of young boys, actually. Their head always seems way too big. It's like they're going to fall over. But when they get to about 14 or 15, things start to get a bit better. I always found it funny. Little kids, when they're about 4 to 5 months old, I remember my kids when they're younger, how they sleep and they quiver and have dreams, and sometimes you hear a little giggle. You know, so that's always funny. Remember my first encounter in holding a baby. It was my eldest sister, and the baby was about 10 months old, and she said, can you just hold her while I do it? I said, yeah, sure. So she handed me the baby, the crap out of the nappy landed on my knees, and then the baby vomited on me. I thought, I'm never going to have children. That is disgusting. Oh, pretty good. He's down there tonight. He won't let go of the baby.
Yeah, he's just so proud as punch.
I remember handing the baby back to my sister saying, it doesn't leak from anything else, does it? I mean, I'm covered in shit.
Yeah, when they do a blowout, that's the best. Or in the bath. Actually, I can't remember which kid did it in the bath, but lucky they were like,
Vegemite is good. I thought it was so funny. I watched a clip of Boris saying, we're going to do, and you know there's a big trade deal underway with Australia and Britain, quite a huge one actually. But he said, what we want to do, and he picked up a packet of Tim Tams, we want to import more of these. These are delicious. They're sensational, Boris said. And then what we'll do is we'll buy Vegemite and send Australians Marmite. And I thought, do you understand what war is, Boris? You dare send any of that stuff here? It'll be war.
thanks,
We'll be putting those Tim Tams where the sun don't shine.
I'll send you some, Scarlett.
What's that?
Vegemite.
Oh, you got to try Vegemite.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird. I'm pretty sure Nicole would have gone through the process of putting too much on, not enough on, and then getting a balance. But a true undertaking of Vegemite in its accompaniment with other food, it's just a slice of bread, a slice of cheese, and some Vegemite. And then, whoo, heaven, I'll be there.
So you can buy the same, the original.
Hello, Monchichi.
Okay.
Marmite is actually a ground down marsupial. And you don't want to eat that stuff. It's not good for you. I don't think they even gut it before they grind it down. Vegemite is made by Australians. All of us contribute to the manufacture of Vegemite. And then you get a rose in every chick. Oh yeah, what goes well with bacon? Mind you, bacon goes well One guy, comedian Billy Connolly, said this years ago on stage. He said, "Bacon, isn't it magnificent? You can't go wrong with bacon." He said, "I reckon you could wrap dog shit in bacon and it'd still taste good." And that was quite funny. Vegemite. Well, it's full of vitamin B. It looks like road tar. Yeah, it does. You know, if you actually just got a palette knife and put it on a canvas, you'd probably think it was a paint of some sort. But it is really good for you. It truly is. I'm not kidding. Well, not really. I've even tried anchovies, and I don't like anchovies after I tried them, but I gave it a go. And I always look at people when they first try Vegemite, and they go, "What's this? It's dark, it looks like crap, smells funny, it tastes a bit bitter." But you could break into any house in Australia and you'll find Vegemite. Oh, I can't stand anchovies. That's a right-wing conservative food, obviously. No, I tried. Well, if you read the actual jar, it's got all the B vitamins that most people no longer consume, as in normal food products. So, and I put it on thick, as you'd be looking at me, Nicole, saying, "What are you doing?" I love it thick. The wife, she puts a smear, a hint of, residue on the toast. There's no point having it on, as far as I'm concerned. I layer it on. You know, you put thick butter on. That's how the Vegemite goes on mine. Yes, Vegemite. You better get 2 jars. You can bathe in it. A bit slippery after a while, but yeah. But it is one of those weird things, like, I think I told the story. When I was a kid, I arrived at a primary school in the middle of the bush, a place called Three Springs. The only thing you hear in the morning is, which is crows, dead kangaroos on the way to school. That was interesting. But at recess, there was an old round caravan with a couple of ladies inside with about 4 toasters running flat out. And I used to buy my Vegemite on toast. It was half a cent for one or 1 cent for 2. Now, we didn't have a half cent, so you had to buy 2. But for 1 cent, it was pretty good tucker. Yeah, apple butter's okay. But if you guys aren't adventurous or intrigued with the world and don't want to try Vegemite, I understand. Some people are built, with integrity to stand up against all odds and attempt to eat Vegemite. But if you want to stick with your mushy, nice sort of apple or peach butter, yeah, stick with that. Just in the back of the room, just sit quietly and eat that. Those people that come forward with warriors' shields and swords and spears, they can dip it into the Vegemite jar and they'll say, "This is bloody good stuff, mate." You got to give it a go. We'll get some Vegemite to you.
Who's that?
Scarlett.
Oh, Scarlett can get it, she said.
Oh, you can? Yeah, give it a go. Oh, no. I like Marmite peanut butter. I think, in the words of a very intelligent man like Socrates, he's probably leaned forward with his old grey hair waving in the breeze to you, Nicole, and saying, "That sounds like shit." No, that's all right. You don't have to like it. Life is about, dipping in and dipping out and seeing what things like. You have a British food section in your grocery. Well, you're only going to find Marmite. You're not going to find Vegemite. But Boris is going to eat Vegemite, but he's not selling his bloody Marmite. Oh dear. That's unsettling news, Buttercup. You've tried it and still not a fan. Okay.
Oh.
You know, I would have to agree with Nicole. Go back 40 years, you could have British food, but there's not that many iconic British things left. I'm thinking, what would it be, Nicole? Crumpets? Marmite? Uh, chocolate bars are different around the world. Maybe
Yes,
good
Tony.
old Mars bar.
I know, Tony, you hear
Yeah.
someone make it or you smell toast somewhere and you think, oh God, I could eat some toast now.
Vegemite on toast. Should do a little video.
You have.
No, Tony should do a little
Oh.
video. It's one of those things, you can have Vegemite and crumpets, but we don't. We tend to have butter
No, the grandson
and
likes
honey.
peanut
Some
butter.
people do.
Oh my God.
I even know some people that put Vegemite on a banana. I am not
Yes.
sure why.
I do.
Sounds a bit kinky to me.
Little bits of meat on the toast and then a banana, or peanut butter on a banana and then honey.
You must be in New York. On Chi Chi. Bagels and cream.
I love cream cheese.
Beagles. I like little puppy dogs with cream
Yeah.
cheese on. I know what you meant.
Well,
I went with bagels. I know that you're not eating small puppy dogs.
you want to see some of the sandwiches our grandson makes. I don't know what you'd call bologna in America.
Bologna.
Bologna, Vegemite and peanut butter all together on one sandwich. Vegemite, peanut butter together.
Yeah, I suppose Bisto. That's a bit like our Bonox. Bisto's beef extract. There you go, Buttercup. You don't like Vegemite.
What is Bisto?
Bisto. If I remember right, it was a little jar of dark extract like Bonox is here.
I said I don't like Bonox and you do.
Yeah, I'll just have a spoonful of Bonox and a hot cup of water. Delicious.
Bologna
would be
is like a
excellent.
cold meat.
Yeah, it's like a slice. We call it polony in Australia. It's basically all the bits of an animal that you don't mention, and it comes out round
Yeah.
and in slices about an eighth of an inch thick.
In Western Australia, it's polony. Tony, you'll be able to tell us what it's called in your state. Fritz. One country calls it, the state calls
Well,
it Fritz.
Germany calls it Berliner.
Bellina. Devon is in
Devon,
Sydney.
another way for it. You know those rolls of deli meat in supermarkets? Let's say ham or something. And then you take it off the wrapping and you cut it into slices. That's a bit like bologna.
Devon, yeah.
Polony, Devon.
But your Devon is completely different to our polony. I do not like our
Don't mention hot
polony.
dogs, Scarlett.
But I
We'll
love
have Monchichi
Devon.
eating more beagles. I don't like a lot of deli meats because it's so full of bloody salt. Just a knob of butter near the end is good for a steak. Give it a glistening, glowing, particularly if there are mushrooms involved. I think too many additives in processed meats, and very salty, very, very salty. But we don't eat margarine, never have, always butter. Full cream milk, none of this. What's this obsession with Americans? I'll have half and half. Why? I don't know, everyone else seems to be ordering half and half. Just get a cow produces milk, drink it. Don't muck around with it. Chili dogs. See, we're not into dogs, hot dogs as such in Australia. We'll cook good sausages, beef or pork or whatever, and turn that into a hot dog. It's far more tasty. What's the German sausage? The one they use to make their big dogs?
Well, it's Frankfurt.
Bratwurst?
You've got all your different yeah, bratwurst, Weisswurst, but we have frankfurts, but our frankfurts in Germany are not the crap that you buy in
No, no,
Australia.
no, that's right. We walked down Stuttgart and have the market there, and would have been out of 20 vans, food vans and setups, 5 of them would have been German sausages. They loved their Brot and Schnagger. Weitwurst. That's blood, isn't it? The true one.
No, Weisswurst is a white sausage, like it's white in colour.
Must be pork then.
Yeah, it's pork. Well, most of the German sausages are pork.
Tony's got his hit of Vegemite and taste. All is well with the world now.
Weisswurst is more pork, yeah. We've got Weisswurst. Blutwurst is your
Isn't it called Blutwurst?
blood sausage, or whatever the other name is for that.
Yeah, no, I'm not into that, Nicole. I know it tastes good, but I like my noodles to be noodles. It's like one of the little tips I can give you. You know when you got leftover spaghetti, don't throw it out. Don't do that.
Do what I did.
Well, yeah, the missus, she'll just get a bit of butter and heat it up. I particularly like getting spaghetti from the day before. I think, oh, I'm going to make a soup. And I'll cut it up into about 1/4-inch lobs of it and chuck it in the soup. Chicken and noodle soup. But, yeah, it's like spaghetti squash. This looks just like spaghetti. Doesn't taste like damn spaghetti.
No, but it's yum.
Yeah, you can do that, and you
nice
can use a
Nicole.
grater. We spoke about it the other night.
Yeah, yum.
Yeah, you don't need to don't do much with it. If you just one of the things I've seen done with it is they'll shred it either way with a potato peeler or a shredder, and then they put it into a mixture of half vinegar, half water, just for the process, and then rinse it. And that vinegar alone does what you just said. So it gives it a blanch, bit of a mild pickle, if you like. Same person that did that put in cucumber shreds, carrot shreds, daikon. You have
Oh,
it cooked and cooked in Chardonnay
Very nice,
and
Scarlett.
herbs de Provence. I'll just like Nicole, the
Yeah.
chef, she will show you how to cock your van. Get it? Cock a van? Chicken, poached. Oui.
Rice cakes, yeah. I've had some.
Oh,
of
they're still
them.
the rage here. Kids love them here. They have cheese flavoured one. They have all sorts of
Yeah, but
flavoured ones.
ours
They
ones
do
are-
taste like packing though.
No, ours ones are called rice crackers. And
Yeah, but I know what he's talking about.
certain flavoured ones are yum.
I believe, this is just my belief, is that you should only eat when you're hungry.
Buddy's question.
Not because it's 12 o'clock.
Did you read Buddy's question?
But I have a question for everyone. Who here eats the inside of a lobster's head? Yum. Seemingly, it's a delicacy. Never had it.
No, I'm with you. But
I used to work in a crow factory. We used to have old blokes just come and get the heads. We used to throw them in a big skip bin. They'd take dozens of them home. And they would do just that. They'd take all the head, gwizzy bits out. And they loved it.
I don't like lobster.
We have that many lobsters here. We call them cockroaches in Australia. My state is the capital of lobsters of the world. I kid you not. There are billions of them. But I do believe the body, if it tells you, I need to go to the toilet, well, you go to the toilet. Your body says, I'm tired, well, you go to sleep. And your body says, oh, geez, I'm a bit hungry,
I want chocolate.
then you eat. The clock is the cause of obesity around the world. I'm telling you, the clock. It's 7 o'clock, it's breakfast, dear. Righto. Here's half a lamb, 2 dozen carrots. Yeah, eat that. It's 12 o'clock, dear. Righto, 9 rounds of sandwiches, gallon of milk. Knock that down. Thanks, Mum. Oh, it's 6 o'clock at night. It's time for dinner. Better eat. We don't work on that here. We literally wait until we're hungry, don't we?
Yep.
And we're going, want something to eat? And I might say, nah, not yet, a bit later. People just eat because of the clock. What are you doing for lunch? Oh, I'm not hungry, but I thought I'd have 5 McDonald's burgers and fries. Actually, no, that's not true. We have in Australia alone about 18 species of crayfish. We call freshwater crayfish, and they're called freshwater crayfish, yabbies. The lobsters that you call lobsters are crayfish here.
Oh, no, not caviar.
I tried caviar once, I'm thinking, that's a bit of shit.
Alright, Tony, go get scared and hooked.
Oh, baby
Baby
cat,
cat
baby
again.
cat, Tony Abbott's back. Oh. I call them crawfish. Crawdads. Yeah, well, yabbies. They can be about 10 inches long, yabbies, quite big. And we have another one, true freshwater lobster called marron in my state. Marron, M-A-R-R-O-N. Very much a delicacy. I'm in the capital of seafood, capital of USA. Well, Australia is just a big island, Scarlett, so we've got seafood everywhere. My dad was a fisherman. Everyone I knew when I was growing up was a fisherman.
Yeah, 'cause it's cool where you live.
Yeah, we get blue crabs. We call them manta, M-A-N-T-A. Manta crabs, big blue. Sort of white underneath, bluey on top. You too, Tony. Have a good one. Yeah, I grew up a commercial fisherman. In fact, I was a commercial fisherman at one stage, Scarlett. Used to take people out for fishing out to the Abrolhos Islands. You should look it up. Absolutely stunning. Worst job you could possibly have in the world. Blue skies, deep emerald seas, coral, fish everywhere. Every species you can imagine. Look up Abrolhos. Abrolhos. A-B-R-O-L-O-S. Abrolhos. Group of islands off the coast of Gibraltar. And they are a unbelievable area. With a H, Abrolhos. So after your L, put a H. So Abrolhos. They were first founded by the Dutch. Lots of our coastline was first founded by the Dutch. That's why you know parts of Australia called like Van Diemen's Land. And a place up north called Dampier, named after a Dutch captain. But they came to Australia, the Dutch, in about 1610. Got on shore, it was January, it was 130 degrees, and I thought, nah, this is not good. No, we got elsewhere, leave this place now. So the Dutch thought it was too hot. Well, I think it must be covered in oil when at Monchichi. That many drilling rigs out there. We don't allow drilling in our coral reefs here. Not happening. If you look up the Abrolhos Islands, that's a mainstay crayfishing area. It's not the only one. All around Australia they catch crayfish. All different sorts. Up north we have what we call the painted cray, which is about, I'm not kidding you, go to about 3 or 4 feet long, Scarlett. It's painted, it's like green and yellow and white and all different sort of colours. When you go further north, I've seen lobster and crayfish in Southeast Asia. They're different again. We have ones on the coastline here that are really red. They're just red as you can imagine. Honiara in the Solomon Islands. We were first Americans there in over 40 years since World War II. Lots of beautiful places around the world. Everything's pretty similar. Spices change with food. Vegetable change with country. Look, I mean, this might sound ridiculous. I could, if I wanted to, today, go for 20 days. All I used to crayfish for was 20 days, because you're allowed to catch 8 lobster a day. And I would only keep 100 in the freezer, and I would always give them away because it was the 20 days before Christmas. So they were my normal gifts to people. You know, half a dozen crayfish. They loved it. They come from down this way where we live now, we're inland, and they don't see crayfish. But I've eaten so many crayfish, I seriously don't need to eat another one. Well, lobster here are about $15, but it costs you nothing to go and walk on a reef at a night with a torch and catch as many as you like. They're like cockroaches. And I've got to be honest with you, lobster is pretty much overrated. Get me a kilo of lobster against a kilo of prawns, and anything left on the table is going to be the lobster. I'll take the prawns. Like I say, for me, because I've tasted lobster all around the world, it's like not that special. You know, the way I used to eat lobster is a bit different than probably how you guys eat lobster. I go down a little area, because I grew up in here, I knew what was where and what we'd need to catch to eat what we wanted to. So at night time I'd just go on the reef in about knee-deep water, just with my hands in a bucket, and I'd catch 4 or 5 crayfish. I would then boil them up, and I always took fresh, beautiful buns with me, butter, bit of salt and pepper, and some people like Thousand Island dressing. I didn't particularly like that. But you cook the lobster, you take it out, you whack it in the bun, can't get any fresher. That's how I used to like eating lobster. No, if we ever went to a restaurant together, you'd never see me say, oh, I'll definitely get the lobster. I'll be saying, I'm not having that. Egg clicks. Where's Gringo? He's in the forward group over. Egg clicks. Like when I make lobster rama, I let the lobster simmer in the soup base for a good time. Not too long, though let it soak up the spices and flavour. Yeah, I suppose, in truth, lobster doesn't really have much of a flavour. The truth of it. Yeah, you'd be the same in South Africa. I just ate millions of them. I don't need to eat any more. I can do far more wondrous things in the kitchen with prawns, or shrimp, as the Americans call them. You get the crabs. Actually, if you're in Southeast Asia and they cook up a bowl of whatever, and there's prawns in it, they eat the shell and all. Do you know what I mean? It's just normal for them. They don't wince at anything like that. They actually make Nicole might have made it, they make a ramen noodle cake that they deep fry, and in it are small prawns or small shrimp encased. It's usually a little bit of egg, a bit of noodle, probably a touch of flour, a bit of seasoning and spices, and then they deep fry it. It comes out like a rice cake, literally. And they're very popular all around Southeast Asia, but they eat the prawn head, skin, shell and all. I like flounder and swordfish. I don't know why they call it swordfish. It should be spelled sword. Let's be honest. Lift up your swords, gentlemen. We're going into battle. we're spoilt for reef fish here. So we're very fortunate. But in the supermarkets, just all imported crap. Seriously, same in the UK. I had a look while I was there, thinking, this is all imported. So you're getting all crap. Still nothing beats going down the ocean just as the sunset, usually the wind goes away, light a fire, catch some fish. Beautiful. Well, Brexit, one of the main reasons many years ago for the push to leave the Union was English fishermen were getting screwed completely, particularly in the northern waters where they get their cod and haddock. Used to have cockles and winkles regularly. They used to be down the seaside, little old caravans with little old blokes and ladies. You get the winkles, a bit of vinegar, and a paper cone. Do you remember that, Nicole? Or have you got pictures from your grandmother doing what I did? Paper cone of winkles. Have you ever seen them take out the winkle from the shell? They have a little gnarly sort of bent sort of thing, goes in there, out it comes. Very clever. Used to have, in the east end of London, things like that were popular as snack foods all the time. Cockles, winkles, all sorts of things. So there'd be people working in winkle factories. I know you think I'm making this up, but I'm not. Yeah, always had a bit of vinegar in them. Eels used to be really big when I was a kid. Not so much now in the UK. But they used to have houses, eateries that were just basically pickled eel. What's the other way they do the eel? You know, like a buttery type thing. Anyway, that was very, very popular. Yeah, that was always the thing. Most people in the UK were going to do something, and then they get something on the way home, like fish and chips, meat potato pie. Geez, I struggle to find a pie in the UK. I was so disheartened. And I'm thinking, come on, where are they? Where did I find a proper pie? Ireland. Yeah, they were hiding when I was there. You can't not walk into a shop in Australia and not see a pie. Not many bakeries were left in the high street. Usually they were the boutique bread type things. You know what I mean? You go in there and they've got all these gnarly looking rye breads and all sorts of funny looking stuff. And they say, how much is that? They say £6. I said, I can make 2 sandwiches out of that. £6, son. It's either £6 or get out of my shop. Righto, take it easy. We can officially now say, without doubt, and not putting things out of context, Nicole, Scarlett just said, I have tried beaver. Well, you heard it here tonight. Live on the Siege channel. Not fake news, live broadcast. The chain Greg's here, the big one for pies. Probably the most common pie when I was a kid was meat and potato. Probably more meat than potato, but meat potato pies. And pasties were everywhere. Proper pasties, you know, one that just they stand on their bum like a Cornish one. Even if they weren't Cornish pasties, they had the wiggly bit. They looked like a small miniature Cornish pasty, but they just had veg, onion, probably a bit of mince chucked in there, flavouring. It's good. I keep getting delete. Have you spelled something on your keyboard?
You keep getting delete. Just sometimes YouTube finds the weirdest words that won't accept 1, 2, 3.
Meat potato. Easy to make a meat potato pie.
It's happening.
And I know you'd probably like the curried version I make, Nicole. Meat potato curry pie.
For whatever reason, YouTube decides...
We're not deleting it.
No, so decides sometimes certain words, it won't allow the whole sentence.
Try and do something now. Try and say something now, Monchichi.
Put a space between what you were trying to spell, the word that was getting deleted.
Traditional pie. Okay, what's a traditional pie? Because a traditional pie that I had all over the UK when I was a boy was meat and potato. And the other one, of course, is pork pie.
I don't like pork pies.
Oh, I love pork pie.
No.
We found a shop. Where were we in? Kent or somewhere, a big indoor market. And this one shop had pork pies. All different types of pork pies. No one can delete anything you say now, Monchichi. Meat, meat. Do you have to say that twice? Meat, meat. Potato, or like the pasties in Cornish. Cornish pasties used to be made up of all sorts of things. You hear sweet, turnip, potato, blah, blah, blah. But they were just whatever was left over turned into something to take to work. Lakeish hot pot. A lot of my family come from Manchester. Relatives in neighbouring Lancaster. Nice. That's what I was trying to think of when I was a kid, when you mentioned the word jelly. Jellied eels was probably the most popular. Shouldn't give you a headache, it's only the collagen from the pig. Head cheese. I don't think we'll go there, Scarlett.
No, I know what she's talking about.
Is that a Monica Lewinsky cheese?
No.
I gotta go pee. Gotta go pee. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So is the boy not yet back?
I'll message in a minute, see where he is.
Probably doesn't want to come home and think it's me, brother.
Well, if it's the same one I'm thinking of, Mystic, it's Mystic. God, I'm so tired. Scarlett, is my mum used to do it with a pig's head. Is that what you're same thing, Scarlett? What you're talking about? Yeah, animal jelly, but Mum would start it off with boiling a pig's head. Yes, yeah. I ate it when I was young. I don't like it anymore. So you tried to say a nice back strap cooked on the grill. See, I don't know, Monchichi, why sometimes YouTube sites, that sentence you typed wasn't accepted and it's deleted it. It didn't even give any of us with a wrench a chance to approve it. So yeah. There's nothing bad about it. It's just some reason how the sentence is worded. So it's all right. Yeah, I helped Mum make brawn and all that stuff. Used to love it on fresh, like a Vienna bread with unsalted butter or something like that. Because it actually, Buttercup, I don't, and Scarlett, I don't actually see all of my cheese comments until now, so I have no idea. Yeah, I just don't like that brawn stuff anymore that Mum used to make. Yeah, unsalted butter. I like unsalted butter. Unsalted butter, Nicole. Yum. Oh, yes. Yes, we did. Not often, Scarlett, because having goose or geese was like a damn luxury I was growing up.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Is Nicole there? Nicole.
She's lost.
Hello. I'm just a meerkat with a hand sticking out of my ass. Here's the news, Boyd News. Yes, apparently fat men in Cairns are going to be arrested under the new legislation led by Hillary Clinton, the new president. Sorry, I meant Joe Biden, yes. My voice doesn't sound right. One moment. hello. Yes. I'm Nicole's sister. She's the chef and I'm the suey thing. Yes. But I've got to go now because the guy doing my voice is going to seize up. Oh, hello. I can see yes. Oh, some of you are not wearing underpants. I've got to go. This is age restricted.
Yes, it's a wig for doll making, Fuzzy.
My name's Donald Trump, and I approve of this hairstyle.
Let's go. Nicole. I put it back in. I have to say when this grandson's coming. Yes, a suet and all, what did I say, brawn.
Suet or suet pudding. Oh, now we're talking, lad.
And
By
now,
gum.
my mum used to make, now she called it grits, but it's not your,
It's not American
it's
grits.
not like American grits. What it was basically hand
Uses the hair straightener, Scarlett.
hand drippings, but you'd had, I don't know, it had crispy things because you'd baked something. I don't know, can't explain it. I have to, I'm too tired to think. But it was a different form of grits than what America had. It was crunchy little bits in lard, but it was bloody nice on fresh bread.
Sounds terrible.
No, it was nice.
I used to love getting up on a Monday morning after we'd been to grandfather's house to have roast beef. What we were all heading down to try and catch? The lard. She likes sour cream. She's not big on anything to do with wine and cooking at all.
No, but I love sour cream.
Oh, ja, weigum. Roast beef and Yorkshire pud. And if you behave yourself, Scarlett, you'll get a bit of icky thump. Tort Northern, it's where my family comes from there.
Oh, for hell.
Coal miners, blackguards, robbing coaches occasionally, along with killing all the French.
Actually, yeah, I'm a bit late answering that. That's what Sage was answering. I was just sending a message to find out where my grandson is. I love sour cream. I do not like herring. I love the sour gherkins.
I'd like to hear you say that word because I know even the English have difficulty in saying that, as in the name of a sauce. Some will say Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Worcester.
Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
I simply break it down and call it Worcester sauce.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
I'll take your teeth out.
It's
try and say it.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Sounding. They've got to do it. Spell it. What is it phonetically for me? Worcestershire.
It actually sounds more like a German word than an English word, to be honest.
Sometimes I do.
Worcestershire, yeah.
You probably haven't noticed, but I do suffer from a lisp sometimes, so sometimes I can't say things. Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Worcester.
Bloody hell. Oh my God.
It's Worcester is the town, believe it or not, the old town of Worcester, Shire of Worcester. Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Does anyone know what Worcestershire sauce is made of? You may
Actually,
get a little,
it's
you
funny,
may get a little bit grim here if you actually know what it's made of.
but isn't one of the sauces we actually use got something in it, object that we do detest, but it's in one of the sauces we use?
Well, you know how I don't eat anchovies?
Yeah.
That's in Worcestershire. And it used to be made in barrels. I remember watching a documentary from the 30s. It goes back a long time. But these barrels of anchovies were like, I can only describe it as pongy, disgusting. But it used to work. And believe it or not, the Romans is where that sort of recipe came from. Do you know what the most common Roman condiment was? It was awful. It was terrible.
What was it?
I can't think of the name of it at the moment, but it was always put on things. It was always fermented something terrible.
Fermented
And
fish or something? Or
something like that, yeah. It was like, even the modern versions, like there's a fairly good range of Italian chefs that says, we're not using this shit.
Worcestershire.
Oh, you've always got pomodori, Nicole, which makes any range of sauces using tomatoes.
That could be.
Oh, for me,
No.
Worcestershire doesn't compete with soy sauce. Soy sauce is something I do use, but I'm afraid Worcestershire is totally different.
I'm just going getting.
We're just going to go and see if son-in-law is coming in. So we'll be right back. I'll leave you live on camera. Won't be long. Talk amongst yourselves. That's the grandson back here. It was quite funny because he said he gave his younger brother a fist pump. I said, okay, fair enough. So he's all excited. Got to see his younger brother. The door was open.
I know, I was going in that way. You locked
Oh,
me
I didn't.
out.
No. Because I said, no, that's locked. And he said, no, it's open, as in the door's open.
Yeah.
So what's cooking on the menu of you people tonight? What excitement are we having? Does it involve Worcestershire sauce at any stage? Pizza. We had that tonight, actually. Grandson felt like pizza. I've been painting all day, so I didn't feel like doing anything. Chicken and rice sounds good. He loves his meat lover pizza. The wife likes Hawaiian, pineapple and cheese. Bit of bacon on it. I like all the mixture of veggies and things on it. Taco salad's all right. Nothing wrong with the taco. I had a good recipe for taco salad. It was corn chips, sort of crunched up, with a layer of all different beans, and then sour cream, and then cheese. You know I'm going, just layers. With lettuce in there as well. And that was pretty yum. Sort of just take a big dip, cut through all the layers. Very delicious. Double pepperoni. For those who are conscious of your food intake, obviously you'll just have one pepper and no roni. Fish cakes. I can eat them. Not a big fan of them. It's got to be white flesh. Probably half and half, half mash. Bit of onion, seasoning, and fish. It's a lot of faffing around. That's a word Nicole would understand. A lot of faffing around. And to faff is okay, but not continually. A compulsive faffer never gets the damn thing done. Yeah, pepperoni, I like it, just eating it straight. You know, grab a big chunk of it, chew on it. You know, with pizza, I like bacon, onion, mushroom, capsicum. Diced eggplant, chopped hard-boiled egg. What's a Sicilian? What's the music, Giuseppe? That's the music to Scarlett's Restaurant.
That's a good question.
What's on the menu tonight? Horsehead. Oh, I saw that once in a movie.
That's a good question.
Faffing.
Faffing.
Faffing. Not Michelle Pfeiffer type faffing.
Faffing. If everybody had a restaurant, what would you call it?
I know it's Scarlett Kurt Hall, a restaurant for sure. It would definitely be called a certain name. I know what it is.
If everybody had a restaurant, what would you call it? I'd say,
It would be, Scarlett's restaurant would be the Beaver Inn.
What would Scarlett call it? How do you pronounce that? Pfeffernuss cookies. Is that Pfeffernuss? Munchies.
I reckon if you had a name of a shop called Munchies, people could not go in.
Yeah.
Got to go in here. It says Munchies on the wall. Look,
Oh, no.
neon light with word Munchies. Good name, Munchies. You should maybe register it.
That's Scarlett, yes, Pfeffernuss. Yes, I do. You know what? I'm not big on ginger, but those I like, and at Christmas time, mainly just at Christmas. Yep.
Got some cheap, nice pork mince. Only cheap because it was marked down, but I like making pork ginger balls. Sort of a Korean thing, in a certain way.
Man, what a long name. Thank you, Mama Beth's World and Meatballs. Name.
Looks like she likes meatballs.
Has everyone said what they call their restaurant if they had one? Monty T did. Scarlett, I don't think you were going to call your restaurant Pfeffernuss Cookies, were you?
Eat your heart out. I make meatballs. Nothing wrong with meatballs. Some people make them, they're too tight. They bounce like squash ball. That's not how you make meatballs. Meatballs
Deep,
need to fall apart a little bit, but stay firm at the same time, and the flavour, texture.
Montague would so deep fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Oh, okay.
And what, have Elvis songs singing in the background?
Mountain oysters and ale. That's a good name, old gringo. If you want me, come here. Gee.
Is that the grandson demanding food? I imagine so. You probably want some pizza.
Sorry, I forgot to show you what to do.
Yes, but a lot of people do make meatballs that bounce. You know what I'm talking about? Meatballs and inedible objects. What are these? Meatballs, right. Why can't you stick your fork in it? Why has it suddenly turned into the eyeball of a large gopher fish? Best way to cook meatballs in sauce is raw. Let it soak up the accompanying deliciousness.
I forgot to turn the sound off right.
Yes, a boiling, so a brine of tomato and spices and herbs and things that go bump in the night. Meatball doesn't know what hit it. Yes, a little bit of browning's fine, but don't cook them. Don't cook them. Let them be able to soak up the goodness.
My mum used to do that, cook it in the sauce. She'd
Oh,
make a
Gringo likes his
tomato and
meatballs.
spaghetti
I went Gringo eats balls. We're talking meatballs. Hanging Sack is the name of his restaurant.
sauce. What?
Hanging Sack, old Gringo, top chef. What do we get him for dinner? Bull balls. You're not going to be able to wrap your laughing gear around it, but you can try.
Meatballs must have grape jelly. Well, I've never heard of that.
Ox jelly, beans. Name of my restaurant. Can't go wrong with pork and beans. Let's be honest. If you're the worst cook in the world and you've got beans and pork, even a failure's going to taste okay. The food is all about flavour.
Oh, okay.
That would be the name of my restaurant.
All right,
Just
Montague.
one word, flavour.
Yeah, what else? Just flavour you'd call your
Just
restaurant?
flavour.
Just flavour.
Because it has to have flavour. Doesn't matter if it looks good, fancy, put on a plate by a chef, squirrely bits, some sort of underneath parsnip bed of something. A lot of faffing around. Good food, tasty, and only one requirement. Flavour. Not
Yeah,
flavour
not
flav.
the group, not the band.
Just flavour.
Not the group. I think I told you, Scarlett, I've actually met them. Didn't know who they were, but they sat all around me, talking to me.
Actually,
singing
herbs
to
do
me.
more than that, meatballs. They actually allow your body to process other foods better. We're talking thyme, all sorts of sage, oregano, you call it oregano because you can't speak properly, and parsley, another big one. So all these herbs do more than herbs are medicinal in many aspects. They truly are. Dry bacon, kielbasa. I can't even say that. My eyes are too old.
Kielbasa
Kielbasa in
with
apricot jam. Okay. Fried snot and ashes. Yum. That's what's for dinner, Mum? Fried snot and snash. Now
Oh my
piss
God,
off.
the
If you're not going to cook it, get out of the kitchen.
Yeah, the sayings your parents used to say to you, eh? I can't.
Yeah, I
say-
remember a lot of Australian kids would hassle, Mum, what's for dinner, Mum? What's for dinner? Dog shit.
No.
Oh, what? It's fresh, though. Don't complain.
Shit on toast.
Yeah. Shit on a stick is another Aussie expression.
Some sayings get lost in translation. I can't translate the German ones.
But food must have flavour. Must be one of those things you go, oh, geez, that tastes good. Food looking good is one thing. I'm sure you've all sat down in a fancy restaurant and had food that looks like an artist has put it on a plate. Then you go, what is this shit? This tastes horrible. Shit with sugar? Yeah, that'd be about right. Wasn't much of a question. Good evening, Johnny P. We thought you left and moved to Mars or something because we haven't seen you for so long. But we do realise now that you have been appointed the new coach of the Sydney Swans. That's why you've been away. So busy. Cinnamon toast. Yeah, not big on that. Anything that is braised is usually pretty damn good. Even for the non-cook, I always give them this recipe. Nicole, this is something you can give other people. It's really simple. It's half a cup of tomato sauce or ketchup, half a cup of barbecue sauce, so it's a cup. Have a bed of onions in a pan or in a casserole dish, like 1 or 2 big onions on the bottom, a bed of it. Put that sauce mixture on top. Then put your braising meat or whatever it is, and then just top it up with a bit of stock or water. Whack it in the oven, or if it's in a big pot on the stove, just leave it there for 2-3 hours. You've literally got braised steak and onions.
Soup sandwich.
Yes, it's been a grim month for a lot of football teams. But they'll come back. Yes, one day they shall come back.
Yeah, I thought it must have been a joke, it's just I never heard of it. I'll have to remember that one. I can tell the grandkids, what's for dinner? Soup sandwiches. I go, what the hell is that? I love funny little sayings like that.
Beth seems strange
No,
to this
it's
Brit.
white gravy. No, Nicole's
Okay.
saying that white gravy just seems strange.
White gravy is just a roux, really.
It's because you're used to seeing
Butter and
brown,
flour,
yeah.
maybe a bit of cheese. You're just making a bechamel, really, if it's just flour and butter, which is okay. Bit of salt, it's a sauce of sorts. Rattlesnake, son, that's what it is. Beans on toast is staple. Along with Vegemite in Australia, you'll definitely find tins of Heinz baked beans. Maybe ham flavoured, tomato flavoured, salt reduced even.
Oh,
But baked beans.
with cheese, grated cheese on top that melts through it. You melt the cheese through it. Yum. Baked beans on
Milk,
top.
flour, salt, pepper, obviously a bit of butter, though. Meatballs, got to be butter in there somewhere. Milk, flour, salt and pepper. Okay. Got to have some fat in there.
Now you mix
No,
water.
all right, I know what you're making, but
What are you making?
wouldn't be the sauce I'd be making.
Is that the...
It's like bechamel, basically.
Is that the white gravy?
It's a cultural thing in Australia and England, and anyone wants to question us, we'll be going to war.
See, so good
We
on.
protect our Vegemite and baked beans. It's a roux without the butter scalded, apparently, but it's a bechamel of sorts. But the simplest, of course, is same amount of flour,
Has Butty
same
gone?
amount of butter.
Has Butty gone?
I don't know.
I just
Maybe there's
gotta-
another man in uniform.
I just got to get a link. I just find this Sheila so funny. Hang on, I just got to see if I can
I like to
find
spice up my baked beans with a little hot chilli sauce. I do, in the pan, reheating them. On a nice bit thick, crusty toast. Don't even eat bacon and eggs with that. I can just make that a meal. It's all the protein I'll ever need. Fried bread was very common when I was a kid. Very, very common.
Yum.
More common than
Fried
toast.
bread.
We have Heinz baked beans. There is no other type of bean. The other beans are inferior and
No, that's not.
they struggle to even compete against the Heinz 57 variety. Fried dough is good, yep. Beans means Heinz. The goodies, dum 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 dum. Baked beans, 3-seater bike, and very large teddy bears taking over London, pushing down the telecom tower. Yes, I saw all that as a young boy. It was real.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I've sent this to Butty. I don't know where Butty's gone.
And Nicole, a really good bean dip. If you want to have a party, get a tin of Heinz baked beans, drain them, wash them out a little even,
Warning, that clip has...
crush them, add some chili sauce, bit of sour cream, maybe chopped up raw onion very fine. Make it so it's dippy. And people go, wow man, how'd you make this? You say, I can't tell you. I come from Woodchester. We don't give our secrets away.
That link I put in, warning, there is swearing, but it is funny, and I don't know, well, I'm presuming she really cooks it and it really works.
Is that Heinz baked beans?
No, it's just funny.
Yes, you can actually cook beans for a very long period. A mixture. A lot of the beans in Australia are the same beans in the US. We sometimes call them different things, but they're basically the same. Pinto beans, etc., etc. Just different names. Navy beans is one of the common one here. Yeah, I got a friend in Arkansas that makes biscuits and gravy. And I'm thinking, there's a lot of faffing around. That is faffing to the extent. That's biscuits and gravy. I'm thinking, yeah, it's a lot of faffing. It's faffing. That's what you're doing. Texas will sell most of our Kentuckians, Tennesseans, and Missourians. Sausage gravy. Cheese them. Look at that biscuits and gravy. Mm-hmm. You can actually cook a bean dish in the oven very slow and long. My fancy faffing breakfast, let's say Nicole and Scarlett come around for breakfast, I give them something different. I'd get some tomatoes crushed. I'd add in some spices and herbs, not many, just a bit. And I would just get that simmering with, of course, some onions and garlic in there as well. So it's sort of bubbling in the pan for about 20, 30 minutes, simmering low. Then I would crack in about 5 or 6 eggs, put the lid on, come back in about 20 minutes, get some nice toast going, and you'd have the most delicious tomato eggy breakfast. I've made it for you before.
I like eating tomatoes.
But it is faffing around. Who do you think you are faffing, Mr. Hitler? If you think the beans are the same. Mr. Heinz is off to work on D57. He comes home to a tin of beans and he's in heaven. Who do you think you are faffing, Mr. Hitler? If you think old England's done.
Homemade biscuits. Well, that's all sorts of recipes for homemade biscuits, isn't it?
When I make baked beans, I fry a rib of bacon, add sauteed and onion, green pepper, molasses, mustard, and ketchup. Yep. Look, I really believe you can add nothing or everything to bacon, and it's always... Someone should just start a YouTube channel, just called Bacon, and involve all the recipes you can make bacon with, which you can make anything. You can make cornflakes and bacon if you like.
Oh.
And people will still try it.
Chocolate and bacon.
The ingredients are listed below. 5 ounces of cornflakes, 12 ounces of bacon. Naan bread is really easy.
Yeah.
Very, very easy.
And that's yum. Any of that sort of bread's yum.
Bacon dipped in chocolate.
Yes,
Is that part of your
Yes.
Jenny Craig diet scheme you're on at the moment?
Yeah, that's
9 ounces of bacon dipped in 12 ounces of
Good
chocolate.
Oh,
Let it sit
yum.
if you can. Wait a while. If you can't, nibble a bit. But when it firms up, you can take your bacon wrapped chocolate anywhere you'd like to go. Of course, you'll be followed by many people looking at you strangely and dragging one leg behind each other as you've got chocolate and bacon.
Did I miss something? Did Butty have to go?
I didn't say goodbye.
Oh,
Goodbye,
she might have had
goodbye,
problems.
I'm leaving you, goodbye. But there's a couple of old traditional English things that blokes and women come home from the pub. They'll either have a fried egg sandwich, guzzy, running through their fingers, they don't care, they're drunk, or a bacon buddy. The staples of the English
Who's
after
that?
drinking.
Oh, well, Butty's not here, but who's that cook you watch sometimes?
Yogurt's very good in all sorts of dough mixtures.
Bacon and pancakes and butter, maple syrup. Yep, yum.
I'll tell you what makes a good toasty, if you like. If you get
Thanks.
little miniature Vienna breads, probably about 6 inches long, you know, a bit like a baguette, whatever, something like that, so it's crispy. Cut it in half, but keep it together without cutting it completely in half. Mayonnaise down one side. Raw onion, quite a lot of raw onion on top of the mayonnaise, followed by cheese and bacon, cooked bacon. Then you pull it together, because it's quite thick of stuff now. Then you wrap it in aluminum foil for our American fans, or just bloody foil for the rest of us. Wrap it in, put it in an oven for about, I don't know, 15 minutes at about 170 degrees centigrade. Don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, obviously not hot enough. And when it comes out, it's still crispy.
My goodness.
But it's bacon and oniony.
Ella, Bella.
Hello, Ella Bella.
Where's your knees?
Backward knees.
They're backwards. Well, how's that going to work?
Well, it means I have to go all the way around the other side.
Thank you, Ella.
Nice to see you, Ella. Thank you.
The JP comes in the room, goes all quiet, Ella Bella comes in, and he's back. I don't know.
Yeah, we had a contract signed at the hospital this morning, Johnny P. Sydney Swans have signed up Jaxon for the 2045 season. Need to regroup, so they're going in for the young ones, like day olds.
My eyes are worked. I'm tired. Actually feels like it's got warm.
It is warm. I mean, this is the middle of winter and the temperature here is 18 degrees still.
Right.
Probably a lot colder where JP is at the moment, but
Actually, I have to try and make bird biscuits.
yes, it's a good idea. The Galloping Gourmet, yes I do. There's some very good cooks over the years, and I use the word deliberately. I'm not interested in chefs. I'm sorry, I'm not. You will never learn anything off a chef. You will learn much off a good cook.
Oh, you do learn things off a chef.
Not really, not if they're faffing.
Yeah, but you just want to use your word fapping today.
No, it's true though. A
No.
good cook will beat any chef.
But there is some good chefs. Rick Stein.
There's a gift going from Alabama to the obese, morbidly obese Canberra. Very kind of you. Maybe you just get a bag big enough so his head just sits out. Doesn't need to do anything, just but eat and crap. And every month he can change bags.
That's true, Scarlett. What Scarlett said.
What's that?
A good cook.
Yes. You'll often see chefs very pedantic about ingredients. That's not how it works for me at all. I work with what's on hand. That's how I've done it. I will often go And the wife will look at me, I'll open the cupboard, I'll open the freezer, I'll open the fridge and go, right, that's what we're having. Because I've looked at what's on hand and then I just make it.
Catch it by hand on foot.
Yes. Yeah, chefs may keep their secrets to themselves, but cooks, in their benevolence, are willing to share. Cooks are all about flavour, not presentation. And that's what food is all about. If we're all living in a cave now, and Ella comes up and says, oh, you didn't really get the mammoth sort of cooked how I like it, it's overcooked. I'll be saying, Ella, go catch your own bloody mammoth. Tastes good? Yeah, it's okay, but it's not cooked to my liking. Of course, I'm only joking, Ella, but seriously, food is about flavour. Probably textures to a certain degree, but flavour. I remember watching Julia Childs destroy a chicken when I was a kid. And goodbye, Nicole says, I need to go and slow cook something for another 12 weeks.
Okay, goodbye.
I'll be back. I'm
Nicole.
gathering the ingredients as I go up and down the Irish coast. Have a good one. Thank you. Compliments and good wishes and regards to our new warrior that's joined the clan. But I give you a name, and you might find him gregarious and you might find him uninteresting, but he could cook. His name was Keith Floyd.
Yeah.
Keith Floyd, probably the original English television cook. So go look at that, Keith Floyd. We all know what Nicole's really up to. She's putting on lipstick, makeup, getting her hair absolutely perfect, putting on that tight black dress with stilettos. And what is she doing? Oh, she's just putting the bins out. But
Yep.
she does it in style.
Actually, people post videos like that for real, what you just described. So funny.
Oh, I do like a bit of roast duck, I must admit.
That's like in Vietnam. Makes me fucking duck.
Yeah. And the most flashiest restaurant in Vietnam I was, sitting at a big boardroom table, and we had our own caterers. And the guy came in with this lettuce. I ordered this duck thing. It was in Vietnamese and in English. He said, blah, 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 duck. And I'm thinking, that sounds real good. So I'll definitely be getting that. And when he brought it in, both hands was pushing through the lettuce. And I looked up to the waiter and I said, I'm not having a go at you, mate, but where's me fucking duck?
Yeah, now that was a Peking duck.
There was no duck. I think it was essence of duck. There was no fucking duck. So I said, I don't want that again, mate. Get me some meat.
Yeah, game is a something you either like or you don't. Game meat. I've tried different game meats and I'm not that keen on them.
Emu's okay.
They're
Kangaroo's
very
okay.
strong.
Hello, Adam. Good to see you.
Yay, Adam.
Thank you very much. You're off to mow a few lawns. Oh, a lot of widows in the neighbourhood, are there, Adam? Just mowing their lawn? Or is that a metaphor? No, you enjoy, you're obviously doing goodwill for others, which makes you a good man. McMethane. Yeah, that sounds funny. You know, there is no such thing as a bad cook. There is somebody who tries to cook and makes mistakes and then eventually figures it out. That's how it works. We all went through that process, and when you learn to cook, it's second nature, and then you work on flavours and ingredients, but you get the basis of cooking done. There's frying, boiling, baking, and braising. You don't
And
need to be an
burning.
expert. Well, yeah, you've done the odd, what we call fire alarm going off.
That's how I tell when my food's ready.
Yeah. We don't,
The
normally you can
smoke
set a timer.
detector.
Mandy just waits for the fire alarm to go off.
Yeah, the fire alarm or the smoke detector go off and my food's done.
I don't wash all of the dishes, but I wash some. But what I do whilst I'm cooking, I rinse everything off that I've used. So if I'm not cleaning, which I do on occasions, do the dishes, the wife just comes up to dishes that are reasonably clean anyway, and to clean them is simple.
Oh, that's nice, Adam.
What's that?
Goes and helps his neighbour with the...
That's good.
Yep, see, Arabella knows what I'm talking about. Bunch of cheese.
You should never blame a dog for your fart. I mean, you've got to, that's bad. Look, the dog turns around and looks at you and you go, what did you do? And the dog's saying, I didn't do a damn thing. You just did a fart. And because I can't speak English, I can only speak Doganese. You're going to blame me on national television. The world will know about this. Dogs will rise up in their numbers. Poor life matters.
Poor life. That's...
You know, this is the ultimate fart. If you do fart, but you actually have to get up to get away from the smell, you know it's bad. I remember Billy Connolly, one of my favourite comedians, doing a whole sketch on farts. Things like, oh, I'm not sure if that was a fart or it's a wet one, but he'd do all sorts of talks about farts. Like you walk through the supermarket and there's no one there. But you get to the freezer section where farts linger and you think some dirty old bugger's been down here and farted. Now it's just hanging around the freezer section. Pure evil. Then he goes on to describe different varieties of farts, one of which you'll all know. Billy would say, does anyone here recognise an egg fart or sulphuric fart in its true form? And all the audience burst out laughing, which means everyone knows what an egg fart is. It's not commonly spoken of or talked about in groups, particularly those playing bridge, I imagine. Wouldn't be the first conversation that goes across the board. But egg farts. He went on to say watermelon farts. And someone said, what's that? Well, it's like an egg fart but gone wrong. Of course, they're the basis of humour. I remember being in class and some bloke down the back did one of these submarine farts. Where he goes, like he's playing a tune.
Oh, like a whale.
And it's like, you can't but laugh. And of course the teacher, all teachers do this when someone farts in class. Do you think that's funny, Jones? And the rest of the class go, yeah, it was fucking hilarious.
Squeakers. Well, you know.
Oh,
what?
Scarlett, that's very sexist. You can't, methane and particularly, we talk about sulphuric farts. They come from all sexes. It's not a man thing in itself. I can attest to Mandy's mother on one occasion as I was walking through a supermarket. She turned around and said to me, did you smell that back there? I said, yeah, it was bloody awful. She said, yeah, that was one of mine.
She was proud to own it. Scarlett, Seeds does that with the grandkids. Pull my finger.
Yeah, pull my finger, son. Women don't fart, we toot. No, you fart. Bellis farts, I imagine. Woof. What do I walk into? Sulphuric egg farts, Danny. Definitely wear that mask. It's nothing to do with the virus
You know what?
in here.
If people say they don't fart, they're lying, because we all fart. Pass, wind, toot. What other words expresses a fart? What
Let the
else?
demons out.
Yep, and the grandkids have said, oh, that was a carrot fart. You drop your guts. What else is there?
Nothing worse than someone dropping their guts on a really cold morning with no breeze.
And of course, the polite one is pass wind.
Everyone shits their pants just asking for a friend. Wow. I haven't
Yeah.
yet, but I'm getting old enough to give it a go.
I know who she's asking about. Oh. The worst is when your
Thank you,
husband
Danny.
decides to fart under the covers and then fluff them. Or hold you under the covers.
And she says to me, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm letting it go free. It has a life of its own."
Or you have a fan on in summer. You'd think the fan would blow it the other way, but no, it blows it over your face.
Of course, if I did videos of you farting and sneezing and coughing and snoring, it would make a big hit on YouTube, but that would be detrimental.
I don't deny doing any of that.
No, no. I don't believe for one moment Danny G passes wind at all. It would sound and probably look and smell like roses in the air. What's that? That's Danny G giving love to the world.
Yeah.
That kind of smells like a bit of egg in there as well. Oh yes, I know what a Dutch oven is. I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy. That's unfair, that's uncouth, that's unkind, it's mean, nasty.
Yes, he knows what a Dutch oven is because he does it.
No, he doesn't. I let mine go free. There was a funny clip I saw where there was this girl and this boy, and they've been going out for about 6 months, and she farts. And he says, "What did you just do?" She said, "We're in a fairly solid relationship right now, so we need to share all of our lives together." So she farted.
Oh, we shared our first fart. Yes, you got your silent but deadly.
Of course, young blokes, when they do gather in numbers, invariably drink. And then one bloke with his jeans still on will get a match and say, "Hey guys, look at this!" And they light up a fart. And then all of a sudden there's this thunderous flame-throwing event. But the jeans retain the heat as well. So there is punishment for the guilty at the time of the offence.
Oh, it's good to see you back, Adam. It's like, yes,
I thought we only got to saw Adam during the ice season.
Iceman. Everybody burps, everybody farts.
Where did you bury her, Monchichi? That's what I want to know.
Oh, Monchichi, oh, yuck. Yes. Or you put flour across the table and you fart across it, and that's, my dad told me this because they used to do it as young bloke, and then you measure a fart. Oh my God.
Oh my God, where's that coming from, Ella?
Sweet little Anna. Yeah, I agree, meatballs.
When I was a younger kid at school, I had a group of boys, bigger, older class, come up and want to take I think I had 20 cents and my lunch. And the little guy of the big group of boys come up and said, "You either give it to me or we're going to punch you." Before he finished saying the word punch you, my palm hit his nose, split it, broke it, and he was bleeding everywhere. All the boys went in all different directions. They must have thought I was Bruce Lee or something, but it was just a forearm jab with a palm. I didn't mean to break his nose. And I never got bothered again for the rest of my life.
I'm surprised.
And I never hit anyone for the rest of my life.
I'm surprised that they even came up to you.
Well, they were just probably, like I say, I was fairly tall as a young boy, but quite thin. And these were quite big, beefy boys from a lot older classes. But
Oh,
one slap in the face did the trick.
oh my God, old Ringo, that's so mean.
Yes, in an elevator with half a dozen people, and you hear them. Of course, no one moves their heads.
No.
Their eyes move.
And
You
the
get to the
nose twitch.
7th floor, you know, you all going to 12th floor, and you hear again. And you figured out it comes from the right-hand back corner somewhere, and it's starting to smell. So everyone just shuffles forward a little bit to the left quarter of the lift, and they're counting the levels. 15, 16, yes. And just as you're all about to walk out of the lift, you hear one final. Yeah, punishment. That's purgatory. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that's where you end up, in purgatory. In a lift that never ends, with someone in the corner going, huh? I used to have sailing yachts. I used to love sailing. The one that I used to love most was a racing boat. But as you get older, you've got to do different things.
Okay, Maples, have a good weekend.
Goodbye. Enjoy your weekend.
So you back, Danny? No, you're still away, aren't you? Having an awesome time.
Donnie G found the burning bush, and then she had 3 stone tablets she was bringing down to the bottom of YouTube. Halfway down, because she had a few drinks, by the way, a few shots of this and that, she dropped one, and she could hear this bellowing voice in the background. There were 3 tablets. You yelled back, said, nah, 2 should do it. Cool. I'm glad you're still having a nice break, Danny. We all deserve that at some stage in our lives. You being a young woman, of course. Refresh, re-energize, reboot. Very, very clever. Old Ringo, AK-47. I think Adam has seen 47. It's but a distant memory. Hello, High Country. Ladies and gentlemen, the cinematographic High Country Fly Life. Cooking up a feed of trout. Special rub on one piece, salt and pepper on the other. Look delicious. Cooking in the wild, hunter-gathering. If you haven't seen that video, High Country Fly Life's channel, type it in, because you can't click on the bloody things these days. Type it in, go and have a look. Some great footage. Some great eating on this particular occasion. I think that rub would go well with chicken, the one he had. I tend not to do a lot with my fish. But yeah, it's all look good. So anyone that's not seen High Country Fly Life, He pays me 10 grand a week to do this, but to promote his channel or whatever. But and all the fish I can eat. But if you haven't seen his videos, go and have a look. Tranquility, peace, at one with nature. Yes, and even in the wild high country that he fishes, on occasions on those still mornings, his rod will be in the line, but from behind him you'll hear the sound. Just happens. No, nothing personal. Yes, I've tried it. I've tried Old Bay. It's okay. It's used in lots of cooking, of course. I've watched a few recipes from these. Got a good friend of mine used to live in Maryland, but now they're in Pennsylvania. They're big on Old Bay. It's a go-to rub. Seasonings, making sauces, meats, chicken, all sorts of things. Potatoes. I like making, like an alchemist, I'll make up seasonings to what I think suits the food I'm cooking. So, but my go-to for things like roasting vegetables is very simple. It's salt, ground black pepper, dried parsley, and some smoked paprika. Put that on your oven-cooked veggies. It looks like a photo shoot straight away, even before you put it in the oven. But it's just the right combination for vegetables. The Gulf train has left, Ella. You're left on the station waiting for the next train.
Grandson. Come here, William.
What if he wants a bit more food?
He doesn't need any more food.
Paprika in itself, I've got 3 different types of paprika, but the smoked paprika just works for vegetables. For me, that's how I like it. Not a lot. Well, it doesn't get much choice up in the high country, Scarlet. There is rainbow and brown. There's other fish, but they're the main predominant ones up there, I guess. The beauty about where he goes, it's sort of still untouched. Yeah, there's going to be properties nearby and things like that, but really, a lot of the places he goes are up in the winding hills and little lakes formed up in the high country, and yeah, so it's tranquility plus, on occasions, a decent feed. JP, hardly said a word, he's got to go now.
See you, JP.
Got to milk the cows. Right. Is that a choc milk cow? Or a nice coffee cow?
I will be back. I must see to the grandson.
Oh, it's quite an art form, trout fishing. I've already understood, I mean, I knew my uncles in particular would fish in Scotland for trout and in all sorts of different places, but they had fairly limited gear compared to what I've seen high country use. Different weighted line he uses different types of flies. He'll use weight system in certain parts of certain rivers. So it's very technical. Whereas my uncles would just basically flip, 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 and just use the fly. And they didn't used to catch much, but they used to love fly fishing. But fishing is not about catching. I'm delirious from poor sleeping patterns. Oh, that's no good, mate. Hope you get a good rest. It's Sunday morning tomorrow. Hopefully you get a bit of a rest, mate. You can catch trout with bankside worms, as we used to call them, which is whatever worms are along the bank, because that's what they eat from time to time. But trout do like flies, mayflies, all those sort of bugs. Moths even, believe it or not. totally different because you've got to approach it differently. Usually any lake or river fish is a lot smarter than the average seagoing version. Got to tell you, because they look at you, they go up and down, and then you only got to put your shadow on the water, and 30 feet out they notice that. In the ocean you can be right above them. They don't even see you. If you haven't seen his videos, Scarlett, you're going to be awestruck, trust me. Just watch the latest one to give you a bit of an idea. I know my uncle's rods were bamboo for trout fishing. Probably the only difference that I see from the old method is that when people used to trout fish and hook up, they would rarely use the reel. They would use the rod, pressure, and then pull in the line with their left hand if they're right-handed, vice versa if they're left-handed, and then work the fish. But that's different because the technology has improved over the years. So most of the time, High Country will reel in his fish, although I have seen him line pull fish in for the last 15, 20 feet. But that's the method of the old way of fly fishing that I saw. I mean, when I was a kid in 1820, when I used to date Danny G's great-great-great-great-grandmother. Yes, there's a connection there. But yeah, no, it's fishing is not all about fish. It's hard to explain that to people. The scenery, the breeze, the animals, the birds, different types of aquatic life. It's all part of the experience. But I think we are all going to go to bed shortly. Well, not all of us, because I don't know all of you intimately. And Adam, you know, you probably take too much room up in the bed, let's be honest. But we will meet again some sunny day, far, far away. I wish you all a happy day, doing whatever you can to enjoy it. We are over the moon at the birth of our new grandchild. Our daughter is doing well, exhausted, of course. Pushing out a watermelon is not really what you want to take up as a pastime, for sure. I'll wait and see if the boss comes back so she can say her adieus. Thanks, Hi. Yeah, much appreciated, mate. Little Tack is doing well. Thank you, Ella. Good to see you again. Rujex, thank you very much. Be kind. We now have an army of warriors, 10 grandchildren. I'm not sure which country we're going to invade first. I'm thinking of China, firstly. That could be an idea. The biggest thing in fishing in any aspect is usually not the wind, it's usually not the weather, it's your aspect to the sun. I have over 50 years experience fishing, salt and fresh water. Did you do much diving in your 50 years of fishing, Scarlett? I used to love free diving, tank diving, whatever. Okay, the house is stirring. The bacon is slithering its way out of the fridge. Thank you for your congratulations, Danny. Much appreciated. So it's a goodbye from us, but I'm waiting for the others to get out here so she can do a normal routine, kissing and all that sort of thing. If I couldn't catch a fish above the water and I wanted to eat a fish, I would go below. When I first started diving, no goggles, no flippers, and that was normal. Used to use a Hawaiian sling, usually a straight spear, and on occasions prong if I'm after smaller fish. I never speared a lobster in my life. A, because it's illegal to do so in this country, and B, I could catch them by hand anyway. Oh, it's the greatest thing for a family, fishing, because it's the journey getting there. It's the little bit of tucker you're eating in between, bit of a chit chat. Then the hunting of the fish. Imagine a young girl probably sits on her haunches and watches you and think, oh, what can he see? Oh, I can see a ripple. That's how it used to be. People used to learn from their parents or relatives how to hunt and how to gather. It is truly hunter-gathering in its finest essence. I don't know whether she's gone to bed. I have a feeling she may have. I'm not sure. Oh, learning young is the only way to do it. I used to teach all my kids to swim in the ocean when they were babies, and even take them underwater, and they could look at me and see that it's safe. My kids all swim like fish, and they have no fear of the water. First thing you could, if you can, is teach your kids how to swim. Definitely. The ocean's the best place because it's more buoyant. But even a swimming pool, that's fine. You've got to take the fear out of swimming from kids, and they will never drown. Teach them how to float, how to stay afloat for a long time. That may or may not save their lives in the future. Most people who drown are panicking. You don't need to learn how to swim. First of all, you just need to know how to float. Oh, it's great. It's great for their bodies too. It uses all the muscles. Yeah, my kids were babies when we took them down to the ocean. And I'd take them under the water with me. They had no fear of it at all. The odd splutter every now and then, but generally you could throw them in and they'd bounce up. No problem. I thought you'd have gone to bed, actually. I was just saying our goodbyes, but I was waiting for you. So from Grandma, number 10. I think there was a fish dish, I'm not sure.
It was a teaching in philosophy.
So if you haven't seen High Country Fly Life's videos, please don't do it. Scarlett, you've got to go and have a look. Tell as many people as you can. Let's make him a millionaire, because I get 10%.
I was teaching.
No, it's not true.
For High Country.
He will never be a millionaire, and I'll never take any money off anyone. But it's good to catch up with all. Good to see Ella Bella today, and Adam Kay, and Rujix came back for a bit of a sticky beak, and all the other people that were here. So have a great day. Try and enjoy it, and just remember, there's always someone worse off than you. Isn't that a great thought? You know, when you're down and out and miserable and everything's like shitty, you think, oh God, my life's terrible. Then you think, there's somebody worse off than me. Still, think of them every now and then. Good night.